Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation, Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. It's great to be with you this morning. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to all of you. It's game day, super early in the morning. I have no idea what time it is, but um, so I say good morning, and you can be watching this at any point. Thank you for joining us. Very big game today. Um, we know I have not mathematically done it, but people have told me, and I believe those people, if the Raiders win out, they got a better than 50% chance of making the playoffs. So they're still alive for that. I don't think they're going to win all five, but that's still on the board, and that's still something that's completely viable. And this is a big day. I want to talk today about a couple of things, in particular, what Max yesterday in the locker room. If you did not watch my video that I posted, I really encourage you to go watch it. He was very forthright, which is Max. Um, he, he was very straightforward. He called it BS. Anybody that wants him to tank, I thought that was a very strong message that he sent. Um, and it kind of reiterated what I've been telling you about tanking and why that's not the Raider way. Um, but let's talk about tonight's game because there are five things that I'm really looking for analytically. Number one, I want to see the offense bounce back. I want to see them get over 20 points. The Chargers are a very good team. You know, they have a very, very bad coach, but they're a very good team. Herbert's out, and I want to see them, get to 20 points, get to 21 points, three touchdowns, whatever. I don't care how you get there. It can be two touchdowns, two field goals, and a safety. I just want to see them get over 20. I think it's important for them to bounce back. We know that there are the weapons on this team to do that. Very clear. Very, very clear. Now they need to do it. I want to see Aiden to do it. Um, whether his future is here or with another team, I know he has a future, and I want him to do well. I want other teams. I want to see players respond with joy again. That's the first thing I'm looking for is the offense to bounce back. We know that Josh Jacobs is banged up, and that's going to be, if he goes, what percentage does he go? Who steps in and plays? Is it, I mean, who steps up when Josh isn't 100? What about Zamir? I think it's very fair to say I want to see Zamir step forward. This was a kid that was picked, was a highly sought after kid out of Georgia. He's a wonderful kid, but his career hasn't really done a lot. And now is his chance. I love what AP said yesterday. If you didn't watch AP's video yesterday, make sure you go do. He says, let's be clear. This is the Josh Jacobs show. And he's right. He's right. But when Josh can go 100, then you want to see other people step up, fulfill those roles, play in those roles, and do well in those roles. So to me, it's a big one for the offense. I don't care about how many touches Josh gets because we know he's injured. I don't care about how many touches Devontae has. It's not about Devontae. It's about the team. But I want to see this offense respond. Um, I think it's very critical for them to do it. Now, you guys know, I always tell you this, I root for good people. Okay. That is how I was raised, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. And I want to see, Bo Hardegree a good guy, a really good guy. Has he done enough right now to show me he's ready to be a OC full time? No. Has he done enough to show me that he has that ability to eventually down the line? Absolutely. So I'm going to root for him. Aiden, same way. AP, he's done a lot to show me that he can do it right now. That's why it's a little bit different between AP and AO4, Aiden O'Connell, and Bo Hardegree. But I want to see that. I want to see them say, okay, you know what? Everybody has a bad day. I'm a writer. I do this for a living. And there are still days that I'll make a spelling error and think, how did I miss that? Well, it's because everybody makes mistakes. It's part of what we do in life as humans. And whatever you do, if you're a pipe fitter, I'm sure there are times that you make a mistake on a piece of pipe, or if you are a accountant or whatever. So, anyways, that is where that's number one for me. I want to see the offense respond. Number two, I love what Patrick Graham has done as a defensive coordinator. Absolutely love it. And I think he has been outstanding, absolutely outstanding. I liked last week when we started to see there were times that they had, Tyree on the inside and, the multiple defensive ends and some things they did to get pass pressure. And I think it paid off. And they're going to come after the rook or after the young guy and make him have to make some tough decisions. I like that. I do. So I want to see um, the defense continue to be dominant. Third thing I'm looking for, I'm watching for coaching. This is really super important. I believe AP, whether it's here or somewhere else, is auditioning for his next opportunity. Did you notice that? Opportunity. Sorry, I'm working on it, guys. And I get your emails. Hondo, careful. You got to change how you say word. I'm trying. Opportunity. But I know that that's what he's doing. And so I want to see him continue to progress. I want to see him continue, not just him, but other guys. I want to see coaching adjustments. Okay. Now, you may say, well, this is part of the offense. This is part of the defense. No, this is as a whole. This is not player involved. I want to see, sometimes you can see some schematic changes and maybe the players don't execute it, but you see what the coaches are doing. I'm looking for that. These people on this staff are all auditioning for a place on this staff next year, whether it's AP or someone else is the coach or Champ or someone else is the coach. I want to see some twerks. All right. I want to see Thayer Mumford. What does he do to step up and continue to progress? Okay. That's on Carmen Brassol. I'm going to be watching Thayer very, very closely. I'm going to be watching how Tom McMahon does some adjustments with AJ Cole, where literally there are times he outkicks his coverage. So the first thing was offense. Second thing was defense. Third thing was I'm looking at the coaches. I'm going to be watching very closely. Sometimes when you watch only as a fan, you just look at the final score. Nope, they sucked. They were terrible, whatever. But when you watch analytically, sometimes you can see, okay, I see what the coaches were trying to do. The players didn't execute it really well, but I see what, and then sometimes you see, wow, the players executed the play that was called. The play was just a bad play. That's on the coach. So I'm looking at coaching adjustments. I think that's really a big. Fourth, and I think this is one that's very important, and I'll get into some detail why. I want to see Hunter bounce back. That fumble was a big mistake. And I want to see him get back to where he was. And that mistake was really tough. And so I'm going to watch him, not because he's a guy who's down. That's not Hunter. But I just want to watch him bounce back. I want to see him get involved early, make some plays. And as I think he's going to be a big, I think he has potential of being a big time force, especially remember I talked before about matchups. Chargers going to bring a lot of heat and they're going to put a double team on Devontae. So that means there's going to be some room in the intermediate area, in the flats, across the middle, and that's Hunter Renfrow's territory. He owns it. And with that big fumble, I want to see him respond that way. That's my fourth thing. Here's the fifth thing I want to see. I want to watch the crowd. I am different than most people. And let me explain. I'm a guy that when people boo because the product's bad, I don't have an issue with that. For years, I covered college, and um, you'd go to some places and the fans would boo, and you'd hear people say, "That's so wrong to boo." No, the moment you ask me for money, it becomes a business. I remember years ago when I was in school, you know how they have school fundraisers, and I think it was popcorn or something, but I sold something and my dad bought it and the quality was terrible. So my dad went to the school and said, "Listen, I know that I bought this to support the fundraiser for the school, as if my taxes don't support it, but um, quality's terrible. So I either want to, my dad had bought several to give to some of his employees for Christmas presents. So I think it was like gourmet popcorn or something. But I'm not going to give this. It's junk." And the guy goes, "Well, it was raising money for the school." He said, "Yep, it was. But the moment you take my money, it now becomes a business transaction. And if I'd have known it was bad, I maybe would have bought one, but I bought 12 or 13 because it said gourmet and all of this. Same principle. I don't have a problem when fans boo. I don't have a problem when fans sell their tickets. It's a business deal. The Raiders didn't have a problem moving here away from Oakland when it didn't work out for them. And it was the best decision for them, but they made a business decision. I There were a ton of fans for the Chiefs, which I understood because a lot of those tickets have been sold before the regime change. There was a lot of Vikings fans here. I'd probably say 60-40, maybe 55-45, but I think 60-40. But again, a lot of people bought tickets before the regime change, and Minnesota in the middle of the winter. It's not even the middle yet. It's still December, mid-December, but still in December is winter weather. So they came out here. I get that. This is the Chargers, and they're 10 fans. So I want Raider Nation to be there. I'm going to watch how the crowd responds, and I want to watch how they um, participate. Nobody in the world loves their team like Raider fans. I shared this story with you once before. I'll share it again. Excuse me. Um, Raider fan. I'll go back and say it this way. So I'm born in Michigan. I'm a native Michiganian. Some of you like to correct me when I say that and say, "Oh yeah, it's Michigander." No, actually, the word Michigander came as a slur to people from Michigan. The original name was Michiganian. I don't care. I like them both, but just telling you. So I'm a Michiganian. And when you grow up in Michigan, you always expect the Lions are going to stink and they're terrible. You have no expectations. You learn to love the Lions because they're losers. Just like you remember years ago, some of you kids will not remember this, but for decades, the Cubs were terrible. And they were lovable and popular nationally because they were the loser Cubs. It was kind of funny. I literally remember in my lifetime hundreds, if not thousands of times of people saying, "Thank God the Lions play on Thanksgiving. They're so lousy, it helps your turkey settle." That was just the expectation. Even this year, when they started to do better, and they are better, people are like, "Well, they'll find a way to screw it up. It's our Lions." And Lion fan shows up and, whatever. This is the first time I think ever they sold out this year in season tickets. It's just the Lions. Everyone knows you can get a ticket whenever you want a ticket. You just love them. You care for them because they're your home team. That's how it was. I'm not a fan, but of them either. I'm just telling you how it was. That's not how Raider Nation. You're terrible. We're still showing up. We're screaming. We're yelling. We're consuming all of the information we can on the team. I would bet you half of Lion fan. Now, if somebody sees this, they're probably not going to be in that because they're a rabid fan. But I would say to you, probably half of Lions fans couldn't tell you who the starting running back is. But they still love the Lions. That's the Lions. Raider fans, they can tell you, oh yeah, Josh Jacobs, Amir White, Amir Abdullah. I mean, they can go right down the line. Brandon Bolden. Oh yeah, Jakob Johnson's our fullback. I mean, they're going to tell you all that. Why? Because they know it. And that's just the way Raider fan is. They're a different type of fan. They are the informed, smart ones. This is why when the organization sells Raider fan on Just Win Baby, they have that expectation. Raider fans are super smart. And so I want to watch, are they there? Or have they just said, okay, we're moving on? I think they're going to be there. I know they care. I know they care. And I'm going to tell you something. If the Raiders offense does anything, Allegiant Stadium tonight is going to erupt because these fans are loyal and they're going to be there for them. I want to watch that synergy again. I want Mark Davis to hear it, to see it. I think that's really important and vital. And I guess the last thing is, and I know this will be 6, and I told you there'd only be 5. So consider this an extra point. I hate the smell of cigars, but I want to smell cigars tonight. I want for these guys, for these fans. I told you guys one time, I think it was after the Jets game. So I'm down in the bowels of Allegiant Stadium. I mean, bowels of Allegiant Stadium. And it was way down there, field level, concrete everywhere. And you could still hear the Raider fans. Raiders. The players. I mean, I'm sitting in the press room, press conference room, which is quite a distance from the locker room. You could smell the cigar smoke. These are good people. The fans are good people. The players are good people. I want them to be able to celebrate something. I want them to be able to, go in. They got a long week now. They got an extra 3 days. They got 10 days till they play again. I want them to be able to enjoy it and to experience it. Now, there's a lot of things that are going on around the team. And just be able to put that, not one player on this team, not one fan, and not one media member can control the future of this team. That's the reality. So you enjoy the moments that you have. You enjoy that. You have fun with it. I remember I was a little boy, and this would have been the blizzard of 78. If you go back and Google it, you can find it. Blizzard of 77, 78 happened right after the New Year. And my dad was going deer hunting. And I said, Dad, I want to go. I remember this like it was yesterday. I was just a little boy. And he said, son, don't rush growing up. Enjoy the moment. You can't go right now. And I said, well, I can ride on your back. He said, no, the snow is too deep. And, but you'll get your chance. But I'll never forget him telling me that was one thing he always told us. My dad's father died when he was young. And so he just cherished every moment with his kids. And so you can't control. I wish you could see all the email I get. And by the way, I have a question answer email article coming out later today. But so whenever you see this, it's either out or coming out. But he was always about enjoy your moment. But I wish you could see the emails of people. One of them a lady saying, I can't sleep, about what's next. And just enjoy this moment. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy watching a Max Crosby, a generational talent. He's going to give you everything he has. And if Max goes out and gets 10 sacks or gets none, it's not going to have a bearing on the future of this team, meaning who the new coach is or general manager or whatever. So I'm going to challenge you to enjoy the moment. And there's a lot to like about this team. There's a lot of really good young players. There's some generational talent. And I want to watch how the team responds. I want to see you guys get something to be excited about. I do. I'm sorry. I've gotten to know so many of you. So many of you. I was emailing with a few of you yesterday and just new emails. Hey, Hondo, I'm a new emailer and whatever. And I just appreciate the way that you all love your team. I'll just tell you this real quickly. I was on a conference call recently and with a bunch of other media, and the conversation was about fans. And in this conversation, I made the comment. I said, it is impossible to not love Raider fan. It's just impossible. It's just the way you guys are. You love the team, you care about it. And I've seen that before in other sports, but it's very rare in the NFL. And I think so for you guys tonight, I want to hear the celebration. I want to look on Twitter and just see Raiders. I want you guys to have something going into Christmas. And I want you to be able to say, okay, you know what? For right now, we don't know what the future holds. But for right now, this very moment, we got to win. So those are some things I'm looking for tonight, analytically. I'm really excited about the complete recap podcast. If you don't know, I do a podcast after each game. I love doing those. Absolutely love doing those. And just sharing things that I accumulate analytically. I shoot it after I come out of the locker room. So I've talked to players, I've talked to coaches, just really getting some information. Those are 5 things I'm looking for tonight. And AP isn't going to win the job tonight. And nothing is going to happen tonight, um, in obviously a major injury or a catastrophe. I'm not talking about that. That's going to change the world. But what's going to happen tonight is memories. I want to read you an email. Wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it. This comes from Manuel. Dear Mr. Carpenter, wanted to send you a very quick email thanking you for your last podcast. When you talked about the players caring about the family that saves up their money to come to a game. I'm a dad, a single dad, and I have 2 children. Sorry, this chokes me up. I love people who are good dads. I'm raising my children by myself, and I have given to them some things. I don't have a lot of money, but I've given them my love of being a Raider. I'm so excited at what you said. We are coming to the game against the Chargers because this is my kid's Christmas present. I asked them if they wanted presents, but they said they wanted to go to a Raider game. It's very, very expensive. And when the team started to not do well, I was concerned that they would not play certain players. We love the Raiders. So excited that they're going to be playing if they can. Thank you for saying that, Manuel. That's you guys. That's why I thank you guys all the time that I get to cover this team for you. That's the kind of people that you are. You're single parents who save up your money to come to see your team. Your team can be losing and you're out there screaming Raiders. It's just the way that you people are. I'm going to say this to you, Raider Nation. I not only get to cover your team for you, but you've earned my respect. I respect Raider Nation. And so, yeah, I want to see you guys have something to celebrate. I can't wait. I can't imagine what covering this team is going to be like if you win a Super Bowl. And so I'm not a fan of the Raiders, but I root for good people. That's you, Raider Nation. And, I had somebody take what I thought was a cheap shot at me, which I'm fine with. I don't know who you're trying to motivate. I'm not trying to motivate anybody. That's not my job. It's called being sincere. And so when we have these podcasts every day, I'm going to thank you for watching. And I'm going to report to you with the best ability that I have. And I'm going to share with you, what am I looking for? And I want to see, here's another one I'm looking for. As we come down this home stretch, there are some people that have 1 year left on their deal, a couple with maybe 2. I want to see guys who are giving maximum effort because they're saying, I want to be here. It isn't about me. I want to see guys continue to get better. I'd love Thayer Mumford to go out and have a great game at left tackle. I think he has that ability. I covered him some at Ohio State. So I want to see that happen. I want to watch those things progress. I think Dylan Parham is a building block for this team. I think he's a really, really good player. I think some people just forget about Dylan because he's young and because he's been starter from day one. I want to continue to watch Dylan Parham accelerate. Again, another good guy. I'm watching a Tyree Wilson who's not 100%. Just continue to get better. The kid's been battling even though he's been injured. He has every right to be down and depressed if he reads things, and I know he does, that people say about him. The team knew he wasn't going to be 100% till next year. He knew it, but he still battled. Still battled. And so those are things that I'm watching for. There is a lot to play for. I've seen some people say, there's not a lot to play for in this game. Yes, there is. There's a ton to play for. If you're a Raider, you already know what there's to play for. But if you're somebody wondering what is there to play for, we're losing a draft pick. Manuel, there's a lot to play for. This is a big football game. You are still in the hunt for the playoffs. Still in the hunt. Make it happen. Battle, fight. And that's what I love about these guys on this team. They're going to do that. Max Crosby's probably 75%, maybe 70, somewhere in that. No excuses from him. Nah, my knee's fine. Don't want to talk about it. Why? Because I'm not looking for an excuse. Do you know how many players would be like, well, I'm going to go out and play, but I'm only at 70%. No, not Max. Not Max. I was on a national show the other day. I'm going to be on another one this afternoon. Again, depending on when you see this, I'm going to be on Sirius Fantasy today, this afternoon. In fact, I'll tell you what time I'm going to be on. I am going to be on that show today at 2:10 Eastern, 11:10 Pacific. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is I think that Max Crosby is an elite player. And do you remember when Jordan played sick as a dog? Because that's what elite players do. And what's he doing? Yeah, I'm at 70%, still playing. And I don't want to talk about it because I'm not looking for your sympathy. And if we lose, don't come say, oh, poor pitiful Max. No, Max don't want that. It's either a win or pissed. I'm going to tell you guys something. And I know a lot of you don't know Max like I do, and that's fine. But I'm telling you, if Max has 10 sacks tonight and they lose, he's going to be pissed. And if he has no sacks and they win, he'll be handing out the cigars because he's about team. He's about Raiders. And he's one of you. He's one of you in a uniform. He loves the team like you guys do. He cares about it, and he's going to give his all. So that's kind of what I'm looking for tonight. That's what's on that's where my thought process is, and it's where I'm thinking. So from all of us at Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation, Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast, part of the Fans First Sports Network. Thank you for watching. You remember you can follow me on Twitter at Hondo Carpenter, at HondoCarpenter, on Instagrams, Hondo SR. Hondo SR stands for senior. And then lastly, uh, we also offer all of our podcasts as audio only when you go to Spotify or Apple. But at Spotify and Apple, where we do our audio only, I do a second podcast every day. It's 5 to 10 minutes called Riding with Hondo. You may want to check that out too. So from all of us here to you, again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. God bless y'all. Have a great day.